Here we have verse 1 of the 5th chapter of the Gospel of John. We have just reached the point where Jesus is returning to Jerusalem. We've seen the account of him meeting the woman at the well, the healing of the son of the political figure that came to him in Cana. Other events, of course, have happened. John doesn't bother to tell us about those, but picks up the narrative now here in the first verse of this chapter with meta tauta. Meta is a preposition, and it can either mean with or after. In the accusative, it means after. Here we have tauta, the accusative, demonstrative pronoun. So after these things. Certainly the things that are referred to specifically by John in chapter 4, and possibly other things as well that, as we say, remained unnamed. But we hear after these things, ein, it was, is the way that would be rendered from me, I am. This is the imperfect, third person singular. So after these things, it was, namely, heorte. This word means feast. We've actually seen it before. Interestingly, there's no article here. This is the so-called anarthrous construction, in which no article is present, and so we would typically render it into English, a feast. Some have supposed this would be the Passover feast, and others have objected to that hypothesis. The fact is, John doesn't tell us, and although there's a remarkable amount of dispute among certain commentators as to what feast was here exactly, John obviously is not overly concerned that we have that information. One thing that's interesting in passing is that if this is another Passover feast, then it means that Jesus' ministry actually extended 3 full years. If it's another feast, maybe the Feast of Purim or a feast of fall, the Feast of Tabernacles, something like that, then it means that Jesus' ministry may have extended only for a couple of years. One way or another, as we can see, John is not particularly concerned to impress that point upon us. So it is a feast, and we'll leave it at that. So after these things, there was a feast, ton udaion, of the Jews, kai anabe. This is from anabino. It means to go up. This is the way commonly in the ancient world, in the Jewish world, trips to Jerusalem were described. One would always go up to Jerusalem regardless of where they were coming from in terms of points on the compass. Jerusalem was considered the high point, the holy city, and so this is the way it's customarily described in the New Testament as well. So after these things, there was a feast of the Jews, and he went up, namely Jesus, eis Yerusoluma, to Jerusalem. And this, of course, is going to introduce for us now the next story that will be brought to our attention, the healing of the man at the pool. And so we'll be looking forward to that as we proceed in this chapter.